thing up. It is on. Well, good morning. Back again. Got my breakfast in the bag. Went to my second favorite breakfast place today. Sorry about that rapid movement. I went to the second favorite breakfast place today because the line was all screwed up. It's Saturday. I rarely go to Xinglongju on Saturday or Sunday. I like going during the week. When you're retired, weekends are special. Monday to Friday are the good days. The weekends are what you don't look forward to. Everything changes. It's all opposite. So on the walk here to breakfast, I have to pass two places, and I pass them every day. And it always feels a little bit like running the gauntlet. The first place is Tom's World. It's one of these arcades. And out front, there's always a dozen people, men mostly, hanging around, smoking cigarettes, and they set up shop there all day. They're there all day, all night. They have their coolers and their lawn chairs, and they have big bags of tokens. They have scales to weigh the tokens. And I have no idea what it's all about. Like, why? What is this a business for them? There's something nefarious going on there. I don't know what it is. It's really weird. Tell me, what's it all about? Why are there a dozen sketchy looking people always hanging out in front of Tom's World arcade? The second place I have to walk by every morning when I go out for breakfast is a nightclub. And depending if it's earlier, like if it's 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, it gets pretty animated. See a lot of drunk people, very fashionable, thin, smoking cigarettes, wearing jewelry. But when the doors are open, the smell of the nightclub is unmistakable. It's a mixture of perfume and cologne, alcohol and cigarette smoke and sweat. And it comes wafting out the door, the air-conditioned door. And it's like, wow, that's such a unique smell. So, the thing about making videos is you can't capture the smell of Taiwan. And there's a lot of unique smells in Taiwan. A lot of strong smells. And yeah, when you smell them, you just know. You go, oh yeah, I'm in Taiwan. So it's Easter weekend in North America, well, in the Western world. And Easter always reminds me of spring. And this morning when I was having my coffee, I thought about something that happened a few years ago when I was still working as a real estate agent. Happened around springtime. My client had bought a house during the winter, and spring came and all the snow melted. And he discovered that in his side yard, there was a resting place for all the garbage in the neighborhood. I guess it was one of these wind tunnel places that everything blew into that part of the yard. So he calls me up, he says, my yard is full of garbage. What should I do? And I said, well, pick it up. And what do you want me to do? Sue? I mean, come on. Yeah, he wasn't happy with that, but what could you do? That's the problem with being a real estate agent. The clients would call you up, 6 months later with questions and things, and sometimes they're easy answers, and sometimes it's like, I'm sorry, It's closed. You moved in already. So I want to talk briefly about YouTube as well, because YouTube is always top of mind for me. And I've come to realize that there are lots of different kinds of YouTube users. I'm a heavy user. I was watching YouTube before Google bought it. I loved the platform even at the beginning. But some people go to YouTube because they have to fix their dishwasher or figure out how to put a new light bulb in the refrigerator. And some people go to YouTube and watch a band that they used to follow when they're in their 20s or 30s. Watch some concert footage. And there's other reasons to go to YouTube. Maybe to watch the news, or if you have a hobby, painting or pottery. I go to YouTube to watch YouTubers, which I thought was normal, but it's actually just another subgroup of people who watch YouTube. I want to tell you a little bit about what I think what's happened to YouTube over its lifetime, essentially. Originally, it was an interesting place, short videos, very rough, very raw. It was a peek inside people's lives. I used to follow a guy called Bohem, and every day, I think he was a waiter, and he'd just sit in front of his webcam and talk for 15 minutes and make jokes and stuff. Those were the times of Lonely Girl 16 or 15. I can't remember what her name was. Must have been 16. That was the first YouTube scam, as far as I know. Lonely Girl. And then YouTube kind of faded. It wasn't that good for a while. And then about 2017, I think it was, it suddenly got really good. And apparently it was because the algorithm got good, and it got good at serving up stuff that you wanted to see. That's about 2017. And back then, for me, I got into van life videos. Followed a few different van lifers, and that was kind of a trend. And then I started watching English teachers as they were becoming YouTubers in Taiwan. And during the pandemic, everyone was stuck inside, so all those channels kind of exploded, getting hundreds of thousands of views. Undeservedly, I should say. I mean, most of the content was pretty, pedestrian. Better than this, but not much. But then Google, well, it is Google, but then YouTube changed a little more. The two things happened. One is YouTubers started being able to put promotions into their videos. And there's nothing I hate more than getting halfway into a video and suddenly realizing that I'm in an advertisement for Emma Mattress or NordVPN. The transitions are usually quite clumsy, and I don't know what the rules are, but whatever these ads are, they go on for far too long. They're far too interruptive. I realize I'm not paying for YouTube, but I am not a big fan of advertising either. The other thing that YouTube did recently was allow YouTubers to have memberships. And I think this is actually the beginning of the end for YouTube. So if you want to sponsor one of your favorite YouTubers, you can pay, nothing. $2 a month or $5 a month. I guess there's different tiers, and you can be a member, be an insider. And you'd think what this is supposed to encourage is that the YouTubers would give extra content to these members who pay. But what actually happens is that the YouTubers only produce videos for their members, and everyone else who doesn't pay, like me, just gets the leftovers. And I think this is the beginning of the end for all these YouTube channels, because they are failing to get new members, because they're just serving up the occasional advertisement, the occasional video to their non-members. And it's usually they don't really care about the non-members anymore, so the videos that they actually produce for their non-membership people are pretty bad. So it's a slippery slope. It's the beginning of the end for these guys, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, so it was on my mind, YouTube. I guess that's it. Today's Saturday, so what I'm going to do is go for a nice bike ride. I'm going to go over to Sijing Island and ride down the island, and then take the local ferry back. It's one of my favorite things to do. And as I've only got another 10 days or so in Taiwan, I want to do all my favorite things one last time. I'm not going to film that. I filmed it before. Just enjoying being here. All right, 26 degrees, Saturday morning. It's going to be another beautiful day. Thanks for joining me. See you tomorrow.